Hey everyone, so today I'm really excited to show you something that we have been building alongside the MicroLab SDK. It is called the Playground, and it is a dev tool that goes as a companion with every MicroLab during the development phase. So as you know, MicroLabs are essentially blockchains, and to know what's going on with the blockchain, you need an explorer. Usually it's a block explorer, but we thought that we could do a lot better than just a block explorer. So microlabs are all about state machines, and everything that happens with the system causes a state mutation. And that is what we wanted to highlight with this explorer. And hence, I think it wouldn't be wrong to call this playground a state explorer and not just a block explorer. So let me quickly show you how that works. So when you're building a microlab, what you essentially get is a plugin that goes alongside your MRU. So you can simply import the playground and you can call init function, and you can just pass on the microlab alongside of it. So if you have done everything else, you could simply run a microlab and it should start the playground alongside. So you could see that the rollup is running on this port, and what you can do now is go onto any browser of your choice. If you're using Brave, just make sure the shields are down because it communicates with the local node, and just simply paste the URL of your local rollup right over here and just click on open. What you will be presented with is a dashboard that shows you all the state transition functions that you have written alongside all the actions that you can perform on the rollup. So it is all about giving a very clear picture of what your rollup looks like and what all things it can do. You can simply connect your wallet over here and start using your rollup without even writing a single piece of code. And this has been inspired by a lot of different blockchains and a lot of different ecosystem, and we try to bring the best of all of that into this system. So you could see that inside the app config, you can find everything that your rollup is configured to do alongside other things as well. And over here, the most important things is the interact tab. And over here, you could see all the handlers, so create, mint, burn, transfer, approve, and transfer form. This is just a template that I'm using from the CLI itself. So if you go onto the rollup itself, you will find that these are all the state transition handlers. So create, mint, burn, transfer, approve, transfer form. If you write new ones, it will automatically pick all of that. If you write new actions, it will also pick all of those as well. So let's see how it works. Going back, I can just create an account over here. So it will automatically pick a schema for me from the mapping that I have created within the rollup itself. And I'll just simply pass on the address that I want to create an account for. So I'll just do this. And as soon as I click execute, it will ask me to sign that action, and you will see that this action was submitted. The block time is quite quick, so you wouldn't see anything in the mempool. It will automatically create a block. But the most important part is it's not about the block, it's about the actions. So if you go into the actions tab, you will see the entire history of how the action would look like. So this is the action right now. So you can see that there are multiple states to it. I'll zoom in a little bit. And these are all the granularity of the transaction itself. So for us, action is not just a binary entity, which is either pass or fail. It actually goes through like a series of steps. So from C0 to C3, wherein it gets settled, it's all captured over here. And if you expand on it, you will see the signature, the message sender, whoever signed it, and actually the payload. And if you go and check out the history of it, just move myself over here. So you could see that the action itself has a lot of different states, and it gets split into different parts and gets settled separately. So we just saw a confirmation coming in. So I'll just see over here. So it says that it's settled on L1. So what it looks like is it was submitted, then the execution status was updated, then we got the C0 confirmation, then it got enqueued for getting executed, then the state was advanced, so the rollup moved to a new state, and yeah. Okay, so the life cycle is complete. So what happens is you get the C1 confirmation that the execution was executed on the rollup, then the C2 confirmation that the Vulkan actually went ahead and verified it. This is all the metadata alongside of it. And we got C3A that the data was settled on a DA provider. So you could see, if you zoom in a little bit, somewhere over here, you would find the DA metadata. So right now it got settled there. And then finally, once it reaches the L1, the block hashes reaches L1, it will give you a C3B confirmation. So that's that. Let's do a little more. So over here, I'll come to the create transaction again. I'll create another account. Let's say this one, sign it, and you'll see that there are blocks. You could definitely see blocks over here as well. So this was the second block, and it has one transaction which is create. And if you go back to the actions tab, you can see that there was another action which was called create, and it is also right now working. So as you can see, it already got some confirmation, so it's still at C2. We'll wait for it to complete, and once it's done, you will find something else. It moved to a settled state. So the neat part about the state explorer is that you could just switch to the states part, and you can see what action created what state mutation. So over here, once I submitted the create transaction, you could see that it added one transaction over here. And if I see the second action, you can see that this was the entire state of the rollup, and it created another account over here. So there are two accounts over here now, which is having balance 0, non-zero, and allowance 0. So you can keep adding all of the different things. So let me just go ahead and do that. So I go back to the interact page again. I'll just click on mint. So I'll just use the first account, get it from here, just add stuff. Let's say let me mint a couple of $1,000. So as you could see, I have added the values, and if I click on execute, it should ideally go ahead and create a new transaction, which is called mint. And if I now try to explore the state, you can see that my balance obviously got increased over here. And now to do the final part, I'll just make this transfer to the next address, which is this one. If I go back onto transfer and I add a couple of addresses over here. So now if I go ahead and execute this transaction, I'll click on execute, click on sign. You will see that the action was submitted, and if I go back to the tab, you would see that the action did in fact reach C2 confirmation level. And now if I go on back onto the state, you will see that this has 5,000 less tokens and this has 5,000 more tokens. So this is our idea on how a state explorer should look like for a microler. We have so many different plans on what the things, what new things we can do with it. And there are a lot of different things that you can play around with it as well. So you could also have custom endpoints, you can have more states, you can inject different states, you can have a lot more different things than what I just demoed to you. And we are really excited to see how you will use it. And this is built as a plugin. We can build more plugins on top of the Stackr core SDK as well. But yeah, that's mostly about it. So I'll just wait for the confirmation for this transfer before I end this video, and that should be all. Meanwhile, you can also go onto the app config, and if you're feeling like it, you can play the Dino game. But yeah, going back to it. Yeah, so we did get the settle confirmation for the transfer, and my state is settled on chain. All right.